before the pandemic hit, I actually began to paint. Um, this was, I think, 2014, when I wanted to actually now direct a play, a traditional scripted play, but now, devised, putting all the thoughts together. Because as a director and as a theater practitioner, I'm also growing and evolving. My style, my language is also growing and evolving. So I reached a space where I wanted to actually direct a play on a painter. I've never painted till the age of 38. I never painted, never did anything with respect to paint, sketched, and nothing in school, nothing in college. So I wanted to paint. I wanted to paint purely because I thought, okay, if I need to direct a play on a painter, then the least I must do is at least paint. So I began to go to different galleries. I went to different galleries, began looking at painting. That's the first time I even went into galleries, because I didn't have a culture in me to go out and look at paintings. So I began to go and look at different galleries. And when I went to CKP, I went to that gallery, and when I finished watching the exhibition, I came out, and there was this 6 months program, and I just signed up for the program. To learn painting, and sadly, for some reason, I felt I did not get enough tools and techniques to help me become a better painter. But that's the biggest learning, is that you can never go to an art space to learn things. Learning and growing and evolving is a very personal experience. You have to be committed and consistent if you want to grow and evolve, I think, in any art space. So I came back home. I started sketching on a regular basis. Sketched for 3 years. I wanted to get a face right. That was the idea. And then finally, I began to paint. But in 7 years of painting on my own, I painted around 40 paintings, sold one. And I was okay. I was happy with it. But when the pandemic hit, I told myself, hey, there is no theater work to keep me going. I'm a full-time theater artist. So why not continue to paint daily? And I thought pandemic is going to last for maybe a few months. So I thought, okay, let me just paint maybe on a regular basis and see what happens. So I began to paint daily. As I began to paint daily, I began to enjoy that whole idea of painting regularly. And there were some days I would paint like 4-5 paintings a day. And at some point I said, okay, 4-5 I think is a little too much. Let me just paint one painting a day. And that became a practice, a riyaz, where I get up in the morning, I sit in front of my table, put all the colors, and sometimes it is imagination, sometimes it's a photo, sometimes it's a combination of two, and I began to paint. So 430 days of the pandemic, I painted around 500 paintings, sold around, by now, 32 paintings in 9 different countries, was part of 4 international exhibitions online, Bangladesh, Serbia, India, Nigeria. And 20 of my paintings are now exhibited in 2 galleries in UK as a permanent exhibits there. And I'm also part of a group called the International Painters Community, IPC, where we are a group of 50 painters from 15 different countries, connected, talking to each other, sharing, growing and evolving. The idea of painting on a regular basis, made me feel that if you want to go deeper into anything, there is only 2 things you must do. One is be consistent, and second is be committed to it. There is nobody who's going to handhold you and tell you, look, get up in the morning and do this, right? And you have to do this by your own. So I took it as an opportunity. I took it as a challenge to myself that, okay, when the pandemic stops is when I will stop painting. I told myself that. But the pandemic didn't seem to stop, and I continued to paint on a regular basis. So I paint every day as a practice, and I don't find it exhausting or tired, because there are a lot of people who ask me, are you going to burn out? Are you pushing yourself too much? Are you a factory? All those comments. But as an artist, sometimes you've got to just cut the noise that is around you and keep it aside and just focus on what you want to do. If that really brings joy and happiness, and in my case, it also started giving me some financial stability, income that I could just rely on, then why not? So I don't know what the future holds for me as a painter, but I remain committed to it and consistent with it.